Remember when Ron Horton and Entrance and Leonard told their stories about one they encountered never before seen in McDonald's shorts about Toy Story and Muppet Babies? Well, let's just say that I found one. It stays in my mind and it just won't leave me alone. But let me tell you how this all started. I was at McDonald's, and my order was a quarter pounder with cheese, no onions or nor pickles, 2 fries, and a large Coke. After when I got done eating my food and exited the McDonald's restaurant, I noticed that there was a box next to the door I noticed. However, the box had the McDonald's logo and the Quick Mario Fan Productions logo. I took it home to see what it was. When I opened it, it reveals to be a Nick Jr. Group DVD. To anyone wonder what the Nick Jr. Group is, it's a group that Craig made that had shows that aired on Nick Jr. Anyways, the cover depicted of Muno, Pablo, Thomas, Chase, Wubsy, Tinky Winky, Rory, Tub, and Molly at the McDonald's sign with the slogan, "I'm loving it," as Tub was pointing at it, as Tub was saying it. Looks pretty interesting, I said to myself. Although I do have a bad feeling, because when Tristan, Leonard, and Ron Horn encountered their shorts at McDonald's by Muppet Babies and Toy Story, I thought it was going to be the same thing for me. But I shrugged it off. I put the disc on the DVD player, but first, it showed the McDonald's logo and the Quick Mario Fan Productions logo. Just then, it took me to the DVD menu. The menu depicted of the Nick Jr. Group in a yellow and red background, with the Nick Jr. Group logo and, did somebody say McDonald's logo there? And next to the Nick Jr. Groups were the options: play short, visit McDonald's.com, and visit Quick Mario Fan's channel. I clicked on play to see how the short would go. But, oh geez, the short wasn't good as I expected. It began with a shot of a McDonald's restaurant at night. It's just a restaurant with no people in sight or no music, just wind blowing and crickets chirping. At that moment, Muno, Thomas, Pablo, Wubsy, Chase, Rory, Tub, Tinky Winky, and Molly walked into the shot. I'm not really sure about this, Muno. Like, why are you planning on bringing us to a McDonald's restaurant in the first place? Wubsy asked.
Well, you see, Wubsy, our girlfriends have been kidnapped here, and Craig got on us to go save them,
Pablo said.
Muno, now that you took us here, can we please go back to the Mushroom Kingdom?
Rory said. I have a bad feeling that Peppa Pig might be in here, Tub said. Muno reassured everyone that everything will be okay.
Don't worry, guys. As long as we get our girlfriends back, it's going to be fine. But if you guys need any help, then I'm here for you. But besides, though, I just don't think that Peppa Pig would ever be here,
Muno said.
You know, guys, he's right,
Molly said. Yeah, you're right. Come on, guys. Let's go save your girlfriends and get out of here, Tinky Winky said. But how are we gonna get in? Chase asked. Let's use the drive-thru window, Wubsy said. Just then, the Nick Jr. Group went over to the drive-thru window as Thomas backed up so everyone could climb on him. Alright guys, climb on in, Thomas said. Just then, the Nick Jr. Group then got onto Thomas and get inside the kitchen.
Muno?
Pablo said.
Yeah, Pablo?
Muno said.
How are we gonna get Thomas in?
He asked.
Oh yeah, I got an idea,
he said. Muno's arms then turned big and pulled Thomas in.
Whew.
Thanks, Muno, Thomas said.
You're welcome, Thomas,
he said. It then showed a shot of the McDonald's kitchen. Just then, the Nick Jr. Group then looked around, finding their girlfriends.
Fufa?
Muno whispered. Daisy, Wubsy whispered. Rosie, Thomas whispered. Sky, Chase whispered.
Yaniqua,
Pablo whispered. Splashy, Tub whispered.
Breeze.
Rory whispered also.
Where are you girls?
Molly called out. Come out wherever you are, Tinky Winky said. Not long after, Pablo then noticed that there was a light over there.
Huh? Guys, look over there.
He pointed.
Huh? A light? What's that going on there?
He said. Just then, the Nick Jr. group then went over to see what it was, and it revealed to be their girlfriends. However, though, they were all tied up.
Oh, guys, thank God you found us.
Fufa exclaimed, happy to see them. Muna then shushed Fufa due to the silence in the restaurant.
Fufa, be quiet! Someone will hear us!
Oh, sorry, Muno.
Fufa said.
But how do you all find us, though?
Sploshy said. Well, you see, Sploshy, Craig told us that you girls got kidnapped here, so we decided to come and save you. Thomas said.
Well, that's good.
Sky said.
Alright, Tinky Winky, go release them.
He said. With pleasure, Muno, Tinky Winky replied. Right before Tinky Winky was about to make a step, the gang then heard a chuckle. An evil chuckle it was. The girls got scared. What was that? He said, getting confused.
Well, I don't know. Oh, Tinky Winky. Well, don't just stand there. Get them out.
Pablo said. All right, Pablo. Sheesh, Tinky Winky said. Right before Tinky Winky was about to go to them, another evil chuckle was heard again.
Okay, I think you're right, Tinky Winky. Someone's here.
Pablo said. Not long after, Rory then noticed that there were shadows, all three of them.
What are those over there?
Rory said. Not long after, the three figures then came out of the shadows, which reveals to be Ronald McDonald, Grimace, and Birdie, although their looks were rather different. Ronald's face was creepy. He had bloodstains all over his clothing. He has a butcher's knife in his hand. Grimace had bloodstains on his stomach and his mouth, and he had very creepy eyes. Birdie was the most different of them. She had a realistic-looking bird head and realistic hair.
Wait, Ronald? Grimace?
Birdie?
Is that you guys?
Murno said confusedly.
Why hello there, Nick Jr. Groups. What are you all doing here?
Ronald said in a demonic voice. Oh, well, you see, Ronald, we're gonna save our girlfriends from this kitchen that someone took our girlfriends to, Chase said. A quick question. Why are they in the McDonald's kitchen? Wubsy asked. Birdie then chuckled and said,
Oh, well, you see, we wanted to make food out of them to serve to the humans.
She said in a demonic voice as well. So the junior group got confused.
Oh, so you don't know what that means, huh? Oh, we'll see what that means for more.
Ronald said.
Grimace, would you like to send them to somewhere and somewhere fried?
Ronald said as he looked at Grimace. Grimace then looked at Ronald and said,
Why, yes, Ronald.
Grimace said. Just then, Grimace then walked over to the Nick Jr. group girls, and he lowered his foot on a pedal, which sent them flying over to the fryer. As the Nick Jr. girls then screamed as they landed into there. The girls started screaming really loudly in pain as their actor was actually in pain, although Fufa's was the loudest of them all. Just then, all the girls then suddenly died. The Nick Jr. group were suddenly shocked as they saw what happened. Fufa! Muno shouted in shocked.
Yaniqua!
Pablo said in horror too. Splashy! Tubb said in horror as well. Sky! Chase shouted in horror.
Breeze!
Rory said in horror as well.
Daisy!
Wubsy shouted in horror too.
Rosie!
Thomas shouted in horror.
Why did you do that to them?
Molly said in horror.
Oh, didn't you hear what we said, Molly? We wanted to make food out of them to serve to the humans.
Ronald said. You monster! Tinky Winky yelled. Everyone, run! Muno said. The Nick Jr. group ran for their lives, except for Tinky Winky, who just stand there. in anger.
Why aren't you running?
Ronald asked. I'm gonna have to fight back for good. I ain't running away like a coward, Tinky Winky yelled in anger. Just then, Tinky Winky then pulled out his lightsaber and ignited it.
Oh, so you want to go for a lightsaber duel, eh? Well, so be it. Birdie, Grimace, attack the others. I'll take care of this purple fatty.
Ronald then said. Grimace and Birdie both nodded as they went after for the others. Just then, Ronald then pulled out his own lightsaber and ignited it, which was a red and yellow one. Just then, Tinky Winky and Ronald then both started fighting as a lightsaber duel, like in Star Wars. It was based off of Revenge of the Sith. Just then, Tinky Winky jumped it onto the table and looked at him glaringly. It's over, Ronald! I have the high ground! Tinky Winky yelled out.
You underestimate my power!
Ronald yelled. Well, don't try it, Tinky Winky said. Just then, Ronald then jumped, like what Anakin did when he tried to kill Obi-Wan. Instead of Tinky Winky cutting him in half, like what Obi-Wan did to Anakin, Ronald then missed it and sliced Tinky Winky in half. Tinky Winky's body fell to the floor as he screamed it in pain. Just then, Ronald then grabbed out of a deep fryer and said,
One messed up Jedi Teletubby. You don't deserve to live. You deserve to suffer your consequences and die.
Ronald said. Just then, Ronald then poured the deep frying onto Tinky Winky as he started burning. Tinky Winky screamed it really loudly in pain as he was dying. Just then, Tinky Winky then died. Just then, it showed Pablo running away as he then hid under the table. Just then, Grimace was seen in the scene.
Oh, Blue Penguin. Come out wherever you are.
Grimace said. Pablo tries to sneak away, but Grimace found him and grabs him by the neck.
Found you!
Grimace said. Just then, Pablo then was about to say a sentence until Grimace then bites into Pablo's face, as revealing his own skull, as Pablo then collapses on the floor. Molly and Tub saw what happened.
Pablo!
Molly yelled in horror. Oh my god! Tub said. Grimace then looked at the two of them.
Since I'm making penguin food, I guess I'll be making frog legs and mermaid legs.
Grimace said. You're not gonna do that! We're innocent! Tub said.
Exactly! You want me to do that too?
Molly's sentence was interrupted as Birdie grabbed Molly by the neck and threw her onto the cutting board. Just then, right before Molly was about to say another sentence, Birdie then grabbed Ronald's knife and stabbed it right through her chest. Molly screamed as she got stabbed right in the chest. Tub witnesses what happened. Molly! No! Tub yelled. Birdie then looked at Tub.
Wanna play, frog boy?
Birdie said to Tub. Tub then said, I'm never gonna forgive you of what you did to my friends! Tub said. Tub then ran over to Birdie as he laid a punch on her, but she didn't even feel a thing.
Did you really think that punch will really hurt me?
Yeah? Why? Tub asked. Just then, Birdie grabbed Tub by the neck and put him onto the floor as he was choking. Just then, Birdie grabbed out another knife and shoved it right through Tub's mouth as he choked out blood. That scene was actually a reference to Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey, as Winnie the Pooh killed one of the girls after when he killed Piglet. After that, Tub's eyes rolled to the bottom of the floor as he then died. It cut out to Chase inside of a bathroom, hiding in one of the toilets. Let's hope I don't get funded by them, Chase said, feeling scared. Just then, the lights started flickering as he got confused. Why are the lights flickering? Chase said. Just then, since they keep on flickering, Ronald was suddenly appearing. as just then as Ronald grabbed Chase by the neck. Just then, Ronald then walked over to the toilet while he still held on to Chase and put them into the toilet seat as he makes them drown. Chase was drowning into screaming as he was trying to get out, but just then, he suddenly drowned and died.
Aww, what's wrong, little doggy? Did you just drown by me? What a shame.
Ronald said. Just then, Wubbzy ran into the toilet and tried to attack Ronald.
You're killing my friends and my girlfriend!
Wubbzy yelled out. Just then, Ronald then threw Wubbzy to the wall, as Ronald then pulled out his knife, and then said,
How dare you try to kill me? That's it. Now you're gonna join with Chase.
Right before Ronald was about to throw his knife at Wubbzy, it then showed a shot of Thomas was looking around, seeing if Birdie, Grimace were around. Just then, he then heard Wubbzy screaming. Huh? Wubbzy? Thomas said. Just then, Thomas shuffled over to see if Wubbzy was okay. But to be honest, Wubbzy wasn't. Wubbzy was dead. He was decapitated, his tail was ripped off, and his leg was ripped off. And seeing Ronald eating his leg up, Thomas was shocked and was about to puke. Just then, Ronald then notices him.
Oh, hi there, blue fat tank engine. Wanna have a little treat?
Ronald asked.
Hell no! Get away from me!
Thomas says as he chuffed away backwards as Ronald went after him. Thomas chuffed backwards really fast as he suddenly crashed outside of the McDonald's restaurant as he lighted onto the floor. Just then, Thomas noticed a shadow around him. As he looked up, he noticed that there was a boulder about to crush him. Well, crap, Thomas said as for his last words. Right before the boulder was about to make contact with them, it went back to Muno and Rory hiding somewhere, as he suddenly heard Thomas screaming and the boulder crushing.
What's that, Thomas?
Rory asked.
I don't know, let's go see!
Muno said. Right before Rory and Muno was about to find him, Birdie and Grimace were there.
Oh no,
Muno said.
Don't worry, Muno. I'll take care of this,
Rory said. Rory then drove over to fight Grimace, but Grimace grabbed on to Rory and threw him outside, as Rory did the Wilhelm scream.
Grr, you son of a jerk! I'm gonna get you for that!
As Rory lands on the ground and drives back inside. Just then, Grimace then pulled out a deep fryer and threw it onto Rory.
Wait, what the?
He said, as the deep fryer landed on Rory as he started to short circuit and blows up.
Rory, no!
He said. Just then, Muno then looked at them angrily and said,
you psychopaths!
I'm never gonna forgive you!
He said.
Well then, if you want to be staying alive, you're gonna have to go through us.
Birdie said. Just then, Muno then ran over to them and started fighting with them. The fighting took over to 1 minute until Ronald then pushed Muno onto the floor, as Ronald then cut off his legs.
Ah! My legs!
Muno said.
Well. Looks like the red hot Cheeto is going to face his own consequences. How a shame is that?
Ronald said, teasing.
You stupid psychopaths!
I'll never forgive you!
He said, yelling in anger.
Hey Ronald, Birdie, I have an idea what we should do to Muno. What's that, Grimace?
Ronald said as Muno was getting concerned.
Let's run him over.
He said as Muno got shocked.
Wait, what?
Just then, it then cut it to black. Just then, it then showed Muno tied up on the road, as Ronald was in the car.
Well, Muno, you got any last words to say before your demise?
Ronald said.
Yes, I do.
Muno said.
I hope you three run out for your actions!
Just then, right before Ronald's car was about to make contact with Muno, it went to black. I could hear Muno screaming and the car more noises as Muna was dying and blood splattering was heard. Just then, Birdie and Grimace saw what happened to Muno, and as Birdie then said,
Beautiful! It was so beautiful!
Birdie said as Ronald got out of the car.
Well, looks like our job is done. Right, Ronald?
Grimace said.
Yup, it sure is, Grimace. Great job, everyone. Let's get out of here.
Ronald said as him, Grimace, and Birdie then went it off, and then cut it to the credits. In the background, I can hear the Teletubbies music box in the background as it showed many deaths of the characters, such as the girl's frightened body, Tinky Winky cut it in half, with his body being burned up. Pablo's face is gone due to Grimace biting it. Molly stabbed onto the cutting board. Tub of knife shelves into his mouth. Chase drowned it into the toilet. Wubsy he decapitated with his leg missing and tail gone. Thomas crushed by the boulder. Rory's head on the road, and Muno crushed by the car. Just then, it then faded to black. Just then, it showed the famous McDonald's slogan, "I'm loving it," in a red background, although the logo was in red. As the thing played up the ba-da-ba-ba-ba, it was in a demonic thing to it. I was bracing myself for a jump scare, but luckily there wasn't, and it took me back to the menu. I got so sick of what I just saw. I can't believe Ronald, Grimace, and Birdie killed the Nick Jr. group. Just then, I decided to record the footage and put it on YouTube. It got 1 million views, 1 million likes, and 1 million comments. Even Craig Marifan saw it, and he was stunned. I can't believe he saw one of his own groups getting killed by the 3E trio. Just then, Craig then shared his post and said, "Guys, a fellow subscriber of mine told me this footage about the Nick Jr. group in a McDonald's Never Before Seen commercial. Comment on it and see what's your reaction about it. For me, I was so stunned," he said. Later that night, I had nightmares about Ronald, Birdie, and Grimace doing the same in what he did to the Nick Jr. group. If you guys see a Never Before Seen DVD, I highly recommend you never watch it and save it away and hide it somewhere so no one doesn't find it. Stay safe, everyone.